Hi guys, so this video is highly requested. So many of you want to see Demi color in action, so here we go. This is my Artist 2 palette, available to artists only with the Seint program, but there are 3 angel edits on the website for Demi color that you can purchase, also smaller edits that brighten, sculpt, and add color. So here is my palette, you guys, and the brushes I'm going to be using today are the brushes that I recommended to you in my Demi 101 videos. This is the shape brush. This one you can sculpt with. This is the spot brush that I finally got with that detailed tip. And these are the bright and blur brushes. These 4 are really just awesome and a great way to get started with Demi. I also have my Seint brush cleaner. Love that brush cleaner, smells like cotton candy, and it gets these brushes white again. So in between brush shampooings, you can definitely get these clean and white again with that brush cleaner. So with Demi color, you guys, when you get your products enclosed, you're going to get a really beautiful insert. And the most important part of the insert that you want to pay attention to is the color wheel. Now, I don't want you to be intimidated by this. I don't want you to look at this and think, oh my gosh, I'm not artistic. What am I going to do with this? Don't even go there with yourself. It is so easy. If you understand basic color science and really basic complementary colors, or the idea of complementary color, you can do Demi. So for example, what complements each other is directly opposite on the color wheel. So as you can see, red and green complement each other and purple and yellow complement each other. So say, for example, if you have a bluish discoloration on your face, like I do underneath and between my eyes here, you would apply an orange toned color on that and it will cancel it out. Now with Demi color, the idea, again, if you're not familiar, the days of putting beige concealers and beige creams or liquids or powders or what have you all over your face are gone. Demi color is about taking your tool, and I like to think of this as like your artist brush. You are an artist with Demi color. That's what's so awesome. You pick the distracting things on your face, things that are bothering you, age spots, acne scars, active acne blemishes, under eye discolorations, you name it. You take your brush and then you dip it in that complementary color that's gonna filter out that imperfection, and you are done. So you've got your edit, you're kind of looking at it like, where do I start? Really easy. So here we go. What you want to do is look at your face, and especially in the beginning when you're just starting with Demi, take a look at your face. And I've got a little handheld mirror here too that I'm going to be looking down in, but I have absolutely no makeup on right now except for a little bit of Seint eyeshadow and my lashes. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to look at your face and find the 3 things on your face that are distracting, or the 3 things I should say that bother you, that you want to filter out. So for me, I look at my face, and for most of us, it's probably going to be somewhere underneath our eyes. Now, as you can see, I've got some blue right here, and then I've also got some purpley blue underneath. And then also looking at my face, I've got a few spots on the side of my face that bother me, and then usually some redness around my nose. So let's just concentrate on those 3 and let's get started. So let's look at these bluish discolorations on the sides of my nose. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at my palette and I'm going to take an orange tone color, and I am going to lightly tap my brush onto that color. And we're light-handed with our regular Seint foundations, but with Demi color, the idea is you're even more light-handed. You wanna get the tip of that brush just immediately on the darkest point inside that discoloration. So remember, the first thing you wanted to do was to pinpoint the 3 distractions, and then when you go in to work on that first distraction, you find the darkest point on that distraction, and that's where you apply that color. And then you kind of take a look, see where you're at. Now, you will bring up a little bit of blood on the surface of the skin by patting it, even gently. So what we like to do is just say, move on to the other spot while that kind of calms down a bit. As you can see, I am, again, very lightly tapping that orange tone color right on that area of discoloration. And you notice how instantly that's so much more seamless and filtered. Now we have a concept in Demi called haloing, and if you are going outside of that darkest point that you're trying to conceal, what you'll end up doing is creating a different color that you don't need to create. So again, the concept is pick that distraction, pick the darkest spot in that distraction, and go ahead and touch on it. And another thing you want to ask yourself when you're going in and filtering your distractions is the color dark and is it saturated? 9 times out of 10, it's not going to be saturated. Saturated means that it's extremely vibrant. Like when you're editing photos on your phone, you notice when you hit that saturation level all the way up and you kind of look orangey red, that's saturation. So I obviously don't have saturation on this part, but I do have dark spots in that bluish discoloration, and that again is where I'm hitting it with those or with that orange tone. And did you notice what a huge difference that makes? And the thing that's cool with Demi, and if you need a little bit more, go in and then do like a second layer. The thing with Demi, you guys, is when you go in and you filter and pinpoint exactly on those dark spots, the spots around it, or I should say, sorry, the area around it seems to get more seamless and filtered as well, which is nice, right? So now I'm gonna move down a little bit here, and I'm seeing, and you're gonna like look at your skin and get more and more used to your skin as you go, but I'm seeing a little bit of like a greenish purple right in here. Like the darkest point on this part of this distraction under my eye is right here. And if you notice anything looking a little bit muddy, like say an age spot or something that you think might be purple, purple's another one that, purple and orange, that have to be really vibrant and really saturated to be like a true, or I shouldn't say purple, violet. And this isn't so much violet as it is a little bit of green in there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to get my other brush here. Actually, I can take the same one, and then you use such a little amount of color that if you just run your brush like on our brush tile or just like a clean washcloth or paper towel, you should be fine to just kind of go to another color. So if you see green, what is the opposite of green? It's red, right? So I'm gonna take a very, very light red, R1, and it's this kind of pinky one right here. And I'm gonna apply right on the darkest point, the darkest point. And I like a little bit of brightening underneath my eye anyway, so this is really, really good. And I'm so much more bright, but I don't have a lot of makeup on at all, okay? So that's under eye. And then I'm gonna try to tackle some of these little sunspots here. Now, if you see something that looks muddy on the skin, that's got a lot of green in it. So I'm gonna go in with my spot brush, a very detailed pinpoint of color. And I'm gonna go right on top of the spot. Here's another one. And again, I'm going in with a very light red-orange to cancel out the green that's behind those brownish age spots. Got here. And the idea with Demi, you guys, and especially when you're first starting out, is you're gonna feel overwhelmed because you're gonna feel like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna cover everything? This is crazy. You don't have to cover everything. I wanna repeat what I said before, and that's, you don't have to color everything. If you're filtering out the distractions on the face, the biggest distractions, at least in the beginning, the other distractions, it's almost like an optical illusion. They lessen. Are you noticing how that's disappearing? And literally, you guys, I am applying such a tiny bit. So this will also give you an idea how long these colors in these palettes are gonna last you. Okay, look at that guy. This one bugs me. I've got a couple here, so let's tackle these. I'm gonna stop to just show you how those got filtered out. Did you see that? Okay, now I've got some redness around my nose. And you look and you think, oh, like color correcting, we're gonna put green, right? But actually, I'm feeling that there is a little bit of blue in there. If it's like a darker kind of color, there is a little bit of blue. Anything that's dark on the face is excess blue. You just have to determine if it's a true blue or if it's more green or purple. So this is definitely more greenish. Kind of, it was darker, so I ascertained blue, but it is a little green. So I'm gonna take a little bit more of a fluffy, filtery brush there. And I'm gonna go right where it's darkest, where that discoloration is darkest. It's right there around my nose, okay? And it's okay to use a little bit of a fluffier side of like a wash if that area is indeed kind of uniform in the discoloration, but like you wouldn't be going, you know, like all over your cheek or all over underneath the eye. So this is the green that I'm using. But these colors, I know this is gonna last like at least a year, if not more. I think the colors that I'm using more of, I'll probably replace every 6 months, and you'll get a feel, like you'll know what colors you're using more of. If you are oily, you can do a very, very, very light dusting of a translucent no color powder. Our vanilla powder is perfect for that. I'm seeing a little darkness here. And also here on top of my nose bridge. You will notice as you're tapping, it'll kind of look a little red, but the way we were trained, it was called place and pray. So you place it and then you kind of leave that area alone for a little bit and it'll calm down. Now let's sculpt, you guys. I love my shape brush. The bigger side of the shape brush is what you're gonna sculpt with. And here I've got a lot of green on the side of my face. So I'm gonna take a reddish sculpt, like literally. Like see how dark that color is? And I'm going in it with the shape brush. And the lightest hint right here underneath where the cheekbone starts curving. Okay. Now I have a lot of like a pinky red here on top of my forehead and on the sides of my face. So I'm gonna go in with a sculpt that has a little bit of a green to it. So just kind of wipe off that first sculpt color. And I'm going to go in with a sculpt color that has a little bit more of a green in here. Just shade. And the more you play with it, you're like, oh, this makes total sense. So I'm always pink right here on the top of my forehead. So I'm sculpting up there as well with that greenish sculpt color. Okay. And then I look and I'm like, I want a little bit more of a sculpt underneath the cheek. See a little green down here. So going back with that sculpt that had a little bit of a red. And then for my nose, I'm gonna take, I don't know if this is blur or bright. I think it's blur. And I'm gonna take again a little bit of a more, well actually I'm gonna take a little bit more of like a neutral sculpt to do my nose. Got a little bit of green around here, around my eyes. Let's brighten that up and neutralize that green, okay? Fluffy side. I'm gonna take a little bit of a light red and I'm going to brighten that up. And if you've applied too much color, you go back, wipe off a little bit on your brush and just feather it out. But that green was kind of all in here, so that's why I kind of washed that area. Let's go back and just touch up the nose. And let's do some blush. Let's give some brightness to the face. So I'm going back in with the shape brush, but the smaller side. And I'm adding an R5. And what's nice about Demi when you're adding actual color to your face is in the way of like blush or lips, it's ladies' choice. You do whatever you want to do. And I love a bright kind of pinky blush. So look at that. Isn't that pretty? And I've already got some pink like present in my face naturally, and that's okay. I don't necessarily want to cover up everything. And you start almost embracing your imperfections. Like I kind of like that discoloration under my eyes a little bit. Like even if you look, like our founder was talking to us in a training and she was like, you look at children and you can see that they've got a little darkness under the eye. And like that's beautiful. You don't necessarily want to cover every single thing on your face. I mean, isn't that so pretty? And then we can also, I put a little bit, I'm going back in again with that reddish sculpt because I want to get a little bit more dramatic. And you can take Demi and you can go around the lips and make your lips appear fuller. So I have lip balm on and I'm going to go in with that reddish sculpt and take that spot brush and just go underneath my lip line here to make the illusion, did you notice that? Of a fuller lip. Okay, and then let's go in and do some color on our lips, right? I'm gonna take a little bit of that blush color mixed with an even more intense red, like an R7. And this is kind of like a matte stain, you guys. And these colors, Demi color, is made to stick and last where you place it, okay? So if you still want to go in with a regular lipstick or gloss, totally do it. This can be like a beautiful base. Or if you want to keep your lips just so pretty and neutral like this all day, go for it. I want a little bit more of an intensity. So I'm gonna add a little bit more of that R7. And I can even take one of my contours, like the contour that had a little bit more of that red, and even add a little bit of like sculpt. This is Demi. And you're done. And then you can take your powder brush. This is my Seint brush roll. Isn't that pretty? So I'm gonna go in with my blush and bronzer brush, like the main blush and bronzer brush. This is my vanilla dusting powder. Now because I'm combination and I tend to get a little bit oily, this is a translucent no color powder, so it's not going to disturb your Demi. Just basically I go on those areas where I tend to shine, okay? Just right on that T-zone. Another good trick, you guys, if you tend to have a little bit of oily breakthrough and you want to control it without putting any kind of powder on there, or like if the only powders you have are beige and you need to get something that's translucent, what I would recommend is you just take a tissue, regular tissue, separate the tissue into two, oh come on, into two sheets, and lightly press just over those areas where you tend to get a little oily. And I'm gonna go very, very lightly underneath my eye with that vanilla dusting, just to kind of lock it in place. But again, someone asked me the texture of Demi. It is a little drier than the Seint 3D foundation, but it's not dry, if that makes any kind of sense. That's Demi, you guys. So you can brighten, you can sculpt, you can add color, and you can filter out imperfections. All I have on is Demi color. And my eyeshadow and lashes. I did prep my skin before I put Demi on with my SPF 50, you know, my skincare, my Seint cream, and then my SPF. Women are asking me, do I use stay spray with Demi? You don't have to, you don't really have to, because this is supposed to make regular makeup adhere to the face. If you tend to be very, very, very oily and you are taking that vanilla dusting powder and going in and just kind of blotting where you need it, what I would say is you're okay to do a light mist, but with Demi, you really, honestly, you don't need it. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll take one of my glosses that I really love, or lipsticks, and, you know, put that on top. And the Demi kind of acts as that matte base. But this is so fun, you guys. It is, yes, there is a little bit of a learning curve. There was a learning curve when you learned how to apply regular makeup, okay? So with Demi, you will have to kind of play with it and try to figure out what looks good for you, what colors you need to use to filter out your imperfections. If you purchase Demi from me, I would love for you to purchase Demi color from me and have me help you through the whole process. I can text with you, I can Zoom with you, work with you to make sure that you're getting the best results. But if you have any questions, I want you to DM me, I want you to email me. You can reach me, Jennifer@happygorgeouslife.com. But this is really gonna change your life. If you hate foundation, if you hate the texture of foundation, the look, the heaviness, you want to appear polished and more fresh, but still see your skin and look like yourself, Demi's gonna be your best friend. We are breaking all the makeup rules here at Seint Beauty with the introduction of Demi color. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Bye.